Hey, what's up, everybody? This is going to be a review of WWE Over the Limit 2012. It's a very, very inconsistent show. However, it did feature a classic world title match between CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, and another great WWE Fatal 4-Way championship match, which was probably one of the best Fatal 4-Ways I think the WWE ever put on. So I'm just going to kind of Tarantino this review. I definitely don't want to go match by match because there was definitely a lot of crap on the show. So, yeah, you know, CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE title. As you guys know, these guys are Ring of Honor legends. If it wasn't for either guy, Ring of Honor probably would have gone out of business, especially CM Punk during the Ring of Honor crisis. He basically saved that company with Samoa Joe, and then Daniel Bryan comes along and kind of, you know, takes Ring of Honor to that next level. So it's definitely a dream match for me to see these guys headline a pay-per-view. Basically, this is the reason I bought the show, and I think Daniel Bryan and CM Punk both deserve, you know, major credit for the buy rate, even though Cena and Laurenitis will probably get the bulk of the amount of dough from that buy rate. But yeah, you know, in Ring of Honor, these two guys never really faced each other that often. They only had one Ring of Honor match at a show called Reborn Stage 1 from Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is probably, you know, it was like a 3 3/4 star match. Definitely not one of the top 10 Ring of Honor matches of 2004. But, you know, if you guys want to watch it, I think they have it available at the website at rohwrestling.com. And I think they have it at the YouTube channel, the Ring of Honor YouTube channel. But yeah, they never really had a lot of matches on the indies, I don't believe, because during that time when Punk was really hot, I believe Daniel Bryan actually signed a contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling, so his Ring of Honor dates were kind of cut in half. So they never really had like that type of feud, like a Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness, where they had like 10 matches, and you know that's one of the best feuds in ROH history. And then CM Punk and Samoa Joe, you know, speaks for itself about what that did for the company. They never really had that, you know, they never really had an official program, to my recollection, on the indies. I believe, you know, if you want to see their best stuff from the indies, I think their best stuff is probably from FIP, from what I've heard. That's Full Impact Pro. That's Ring of Honor's sister promotion. So if you do want to see some of their best stuff from the indies, definitely check out their FIP stuff. But yeah, let's not waste any time. You know, this match really happened pretty soon. I didn't expect these guys to headline a pay-per-view this soon. I think the Jericho, I don't know if the Jericho feud was scrapped, because I heard the Jericho Punk thing was supposed to continue heading into the summertime, but after what happened tonight, I'm not so sure if that's going to happen. But I don't know. I would definitely love to see Daniel Bryan, Punk, and Jericho in a triple threat match at SummerSlam. Hopefully we could see that. That's something I'd definitely love to see. But yeah, you know, I think there's two reasons why this match happened so soon. I think you could attribute to, you know, Daniel Bryan really catching on with the yes chants and just being extremely hot right now. You can make a case that Daniel Bryan is the hottest wrestler in WWE. And then on top of that, I think Punk is, the longer his title reign lasts and the more popularity he gains, I think he's going to have more political power and can make more decisions, and, you know, can really dictate who he wants to face. I know he actually talked about how he would love to face Daniel Bryan or a guy like William Regal at a WrestleMania. So here we go. You know, this match was, you know, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. Definitely thought this was a match of the year candidate. Probably the third best WWE match of the year so far. It was awesome stuff because it was still great storyline progression. And it was a great match. It's definitely going to lead into another match. And it looks like this feud is going to continue heading into No Way Out. So, yeah, just, and, you know, I have to give this crowd credit. You know, they were very, very respectful. It was one of the best crowds I think you would have heard this year. You know, CM Punk was kind of playing the John Cena role. You kind of had a lot of the women and the kids cheering for Punk, and a lot of the older demographic cheering for Daniel Bryan. But at the same time, it's not like they turned on Punk at all. The fans were still really into everything he did. So that's the main difference. But yeah, just a lot of beautiful submission wrestling that the fans really respected and really gave a lot of appreciation to. You heard a lot of Ring of Honor chants, a lot of ROH chants, which came across pretty clear. So that was pretty cool to hear. On top of that, you had some "This is wrestling" chants. You had "This is awesome" chants, and you know these are typical chants you hear at indie shows. And you finally heard those type of chants loud and clear, and really, you know, pick up at a WWE show, which you never really hear. And, they did a lot of innovative submission holds that the WWE audience isn't accustomed to seeing, and they really reacted to it in a beautiful way. So just really, really good stuff. Punk started out working over Daniel Bryan's knee, and then, Daniel Bryan was actually targeting Punk's ribs. He actually put him in a surfboard submission hold, which got a great reaction, and actually torqued it back into a dragon sleeper. So yeah, Daniel Bryan really, tweaked and torqued Punk's muscles and, split him in half like it was a pretzel. So just, like I said, the submission wrestling and some of the counters and reversals and, some of the strikes from a lot of vicious kicking from Daniel Bryan, a lot of vicious strikes from him. They just did a lot of I really wish I could watch this match again, because they packed in so much stuff, and the match didn't drag at all. You saw Punk actually go for a springboard lariat, and Daniel Bryan sold it like the Nigel McGuinness's jawbreaker lariat. So that was really cool. Eventually, there was a beautiful transition with Punk doing the figure 4 leg lock, and the crowd just exploded. They're in Ric Flair country, and this North Carolina crowd deserves a lot of credit. They don't really get credit for being a hot crowd, but they were definitely amazing for this match. And then towards the end, there was a beautiful counter with Daniel Bryan countering Punk's bulldog into the yes lock. And then from there, I think Punk countered that into a pinning predicament. And then, Danielson turned that back into a bow and arrow. And then somehow Punk got the leverage back. And then, Daniel Bryan countered that into a crossface chicken wing. But Punk still had the leverage, so he got the pinfall. But then, Punk starts tapping after the pinfall was already called for. So it looks like they're going to head to another rematch. That ending kind of reminded me of the Angle Benoit Backlash 2001 finish with Benoit tapping after the bell rang. So just really, really awesome stuff. I couldn't have asked for a better match. 4.5 stars. I know some people might think I'm overrating it, but I just feel like this. If you've seen these guys, come up, on the independent scene, you have actually watched some of their previous stuff. It just makes you appreciate it that much more. And that's why I think people need to, not necessarily watch every single indie show or every ROH show that comes out, but at least, have somewhat of a following of the guys that are trying to make a name for themselves. Because when they do get to the WWE, you just appreciate it that much more. So, there we go with that. So the other great match on the show was the world title match. You had Sheamus defending the belt against Alberto Del Rio, Chris Jericho, and Randy Orton. Having Jericho in a world title match is a win-win situation. It's just, every time Jericho's in a world title match, it's always fun to see. So, but Jericho taking the pinfall, man, it really kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know where they're going here. I would definitely love to see Jericho and Punk kind of rekindle their feud again, but I just don't see it happening after what happened tonight. But as far as this match goes, this is probably like the second best Fatal 4-Way I've seen WWE ever put on. The only one I think that was better than this was the Backlash 2007 one. But yeah, this was awesome. It kind of took a while to get going. These matches are really tough to, as far as ring psychology goes, it's kind of tough to tell a good story sometimes. You kind of had 2 guys in and 2 guys out. It wasn't like they crowded the ring the whole time and clustered it up. It was, just a lot of exciting action, a lot of great near falls. There was a time when you definitely thought, any guy could take it. some of the exciting stuff in this match, I think you had, Alberto Del Rio, he pulled off a beautiful cross arm breaker, and then Jericho countered that into the walls of Jericho, and then I think Randy Orton hit the RKO on Jericho in a prone position while he had the walls of Jericho locked down Del Rio. So that was an awesome spot. Sheamus with the road kick, and you had guys breaking that up. Orton hit like a shitload of RKOs. I would say that Jericho and Orton were actually the hottest guys in the match as far as crowd reaction goes. The fans are really hoping for a Jericho title win, or even Randy Orton to win the belt back. So Sheamus definitely didn't have a lot of, Sheamus is having a tough time. He really didn't have a lot of the fans on his side. That Daniel Bryan situation at WrestleMania, I have a feling it's going to hurt him for a while. It really is. And, this is a good win for Sheamus. It really put a stamp of approval on his world title reign so far. I think it's a victory that he needed under his belt to make him look like more of a legitimate champion. But it just wasn't enough, though. The fans really didn't buy into the finish. He actually pulled off the Celtic Cross. I believe they're calling it the Great White. It's a new signature move from Sheamus. It looks like they're going to be doing a Sheamus Randy Orton program heading into SummerSlam. So it looks like the rumored Brock Lesnar Randy Orton match will be scrapped. So we'll get Sheamus versus Randy Orton, which I think will be pretty cool heading into SummerSlam. So we'll see what happens there. But, all 4 guys look great. Jericho looked great. Like I said, there was a beautiful small package from Jericho where you really thought he was going to win the belt. I have to say Del Rio looked pretty good here, and Randy Orton looked I thought Randy Orton was probably the MVP of this match, to tell you the truth. I thought he looked that good, and Sheamus brought it as well. All 4 guys brought it, so there we go. I'm going to give this definitely a 4-star rating. All right, so some of the other matches from the show, you had Christian actually won a Battle Royal, which is a pretty entertaining Battle Royal. Christian, they basically turned Christian face just by having just by having 2 guys stare at him, and I can't even remember who it came down to. But Christian won the Battle Royal, and he actually took on Cody Rhodes later on in the night for the IC title. Now, this felt very rushed to me. Christian already had his moment, and by the time that Christian and Cody Rhodes actually wrestled, I felt like the crowd was dead. And just not the match is very, very average. It wasn't I don't think Christian really needs the Intercontinental Championship. He was the Intercontinental Champion 11 years ago, so I don't know. I think a Christian Cody Rhodes feud, it could actually be pretty good. So maybe once they get a chance at another pay-per-view, maybe they could have a better match. The other match we had, Kofi Kingston and R-Truth taking on Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger. I thought this was solid. Some people think it probably went too long. It's pretty much your typical WWE tag match with, Swagger working over R-Truth the whole match, and then eventually Kofi Kingston got the hot tag. You saw some really good action between Kofi and Dolph Ziggler. Kofi actually did a beautiful crossbody off the top rope, and then Ziggler actually hit the Famouser for a near fall. So yeah, there was just a lot of good action, towards the end, but it was very methodical and very slow paced until that hot tag. But I'll still give it about 3 stars. So that's pretty much it from the show. I think there's really nothing else I want to talk about besides, John Cena and John Laurenitis. Basically featured Cena dicking around the whole match, just fucking around with Laurenitis. And then, eventually Laurenitis went to work on Cena's bad arm from the Brock Lesnar Kimura from Extreme Rules. But then eventually the Big Show came out. One of the most predictable heel turns of all time. I have to say this really hurts Cena's character. I mean, the guy's been in more world title matches than Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock combined. So, I don't know. You had to see that coming a mile away. It kind of made Cena look weak, for him just to fall into that trap like that. I don't know. Big Show turning heel. Siding with John Laurenitis, trying to swerve the fans. I really don't think it worked. It was just one of the most predictable and slow heel turns I've ever seen. So, really nothing to talk about there. Just, this is definitely one of the worst main events you'll ever see. I was kind of disappointed because John Laurenitis is supposed to be a pretty decent wrestler. I heard Misawa actually carried him to a 4-star match in All Japan during the 90s. So, I was disappointed with this. I was hoping Laurenitis would get to show more of what he could actually do, but definitely not a good main event. This was definitely a 2-match show. So definitely check out Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk if you get a chance.